Here she is.
Hey.
No, don't go on yet. Is the DVD rolling? Okay, good. I've got Sarah online. You guys are ready? We're ready. Give us a countdown and then you can go live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome back to the Walking Dead support group. A very happy return for us all. Thank you for joining us. To my left, as always, I have my co-host Jason McCarthy. To my right, I have my co-host Keith O'Brien. And on the small screen in front of me, we have a special guest joining us via Skype. This is Sara Crow. Say hi to everybody, Sarah.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you. So like what we always do is once we get into this show, we go to Keith right away for the kill count. Keith, how many died tonight?
How many died tonight?
Yes.
Tonight's kill count is 29 zombies.
29.
29 walkers, spiders, whatever they got, nippers. But we call them walkers here. And 29 of them have gone the eternal way.
Very good. Jason, why don't you give us the quick shout out to our Twitter, new fans on Twitter, and some of the people on Facebook, please.
All right, new to us on Twitter, Walking Dead 10, Ralph Knack, LB Swag, Jonathan Mayberry, Javier at WD, Deadlay1, Shrapnel Jones, and Addicted to Ritas.
Really quick, just so at home, the Jonathan Mayberry on our Twitter followers list, he is actually a published author on the New York best sellers list. So thank you very much for checking us out and adding us to your list of people on Twitter that you follow. Jake, take it away with Facebook, please.
All right, some little shout out to the Facebook followers. Laura Ayers, Jack Johnson, Vincent Ward, yes, the actor.
Who played Oscar.
Who played Oscar, right?
Next to Axel in the prison, for those of you who need a quick refresher.
He actually saved Rick's life. David Burke, Ann McDougall, Lindsay Bloomberg, and Michael Nicholson.
And we can also add Laura's son Elijah jumped in too today. So since she's on, we'll add him in too. All right, so we're going to get right into tonight's episode since we have our special guest host. We're going to default to her as much as possible to start off. So tonight's episode was called After, and the summary of it was the survivors of the prison try to assault to regroup. Rick and Carl stumble upon a vacant house in the forest, and according to IMDb, Daryl and Beth were to realize someone was watching them. We saw absolutely nothing of that, so we're going to start questioning IMDb's legitimacy.
I'm crossing
but that's
it off.
all right. So the first thing we like to do is our favorite kill. Sarah, would you like to take away on a favorite kill?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I actually didn't specifically have a favorite singular kill, but for me, the whole Michonne freak out, as it's been being called online, was extremely epic to me. I was fighting in my mind between that and Carl luring the walkers away, because that was so close to the comic. But I really enjoyed the emotion and everything that went into the whole scene with Michonne and how she just, kind of snapped and took everybody out. And it just showed a different side of her that I have never seen. And I'm so happy that they finally went there, because she is a very deep person in the comics, even though the show can take you to a whole different level. I just thought it was really awesome how they put that whole scene together. And of course, I'm never afraid for her safety, because she's so strong, you know what I mean?
Right. We often say that Daryl has plot armor. I think Michonne just has Michonne armor. There's nothing that's going to get to Michonne.
Yeah, and she's so smart. She knows how to work the zombies more than any of the other, characters do.
Were you happy to see that she brought back her pets?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was a little sad when she chopped their heads in half, but she had a moment, which is cool. At least she kept herself safe, so that's the important part.
Absolutely. Jay, what was your favorite kill of this night?
I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to say a bunch of kills in one. I'm going to dub it Michonne slaughters the herd. She was just nuts, and she went nuts, and we enjoyed it. So thank you.
For me, my favorite kill of the night was when Michonne, she got obviously the majority of all the kills tonight, but that moment where, even before the show started, I said, why isn't Herschel's head still alive? And we got that answered pretty quick. So that to me was the great kill because it was a singular moment. It showed Michonne having a human side and kind of closing the eyes and doing right by a friend who fell with her in battle. So I thought that was a great moment. And it wasn't overkill. It was very dramatic. Jay, Keith, what do you think?
Well, my favorite goes along with both Sarah and what Jason has touched on, the melee and the Michonne kills. But my favorite kill of that was Michonne seeing the walker and then hallucinating that it was her as a walker.
Yeah.
And that kind of like, because she's having the flashback, she had the dream in the car, and then she's having a few hallucinations as she's walking. And then she just stopped and killed that walker first as herself, and then the melee started. So that kind of led into the melee, but that was more of my favorite kill.
So essentially, she killed herself.
Not killed herself, but I think she's obviously going along the lines with the flashback that she's had, because she had the flashback, and then the flashback led to her first, or maybe her set of minions, we'll call them. And she's kind of like having these hallucinations. Maybe this is something so she can move past it, but clearly she's not moving past it, because then she has another thing. She's talking to Mike, whoever Mike is. Right. I think it was her boyfriend. Or as they said, lovers in the dream, lovers.
And on our Facebook feed, we threw this question out too about the favorite kill. Vinny says his was the Carkle. Wow, putting the glasses back on. Sorry.
Get those 1.75s out.
Yeah, 42. What can I tell you? Carl Walker bowling kill.
44 no cheaters.
And well, you smoke pot. Cynthia.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. By the way, thanks for sending it.
Carl's triple threat. And Michonne at the door.
How was that Walker bowling?
I don't know. It kind of does.
Is it
Everything's
because it's 3 kills?
And favorite kill by David was when Carl kills the 3. That's apparently a pretty.
They didn't
good
go
one.
down like bowling pins.
Well, you haven't seen me bowl. They kind of did.
Maybe they went down like candle pins.
So the next thing we like to do is get the favorite line of the night. Sarah, do you have a favorite line of tonight? Because there were a couple good ones.
Oh man, there was quite a few of them. I liked a lot of what Carl said tonight. I liked it mostly because it was so true to comic, and I'm like a comic freak. But I think the line that hit me the most is when he finally admitted that he was afraid. He said, I'm afraid, a few times over. And it just, like, because we've been used to this B.A. Carl that just, he has feelings, but he's very, stoic, and he keeps everything in, and he doesn't really explode on people, but he actually let go, and he finally admitted that he was afraid, and that was probably my favorite part, my favorite line.
Excellent. My favorite line of the night, and I guess I'm going for all the subtleties on this one, was when Rick said, every bullet counts. And that came back to haunt him pretty quick, because he actually ran out of bullets when he was stuck in that room. Mm-hmm. And that was one of those, you always wish you saved a bullet. But, Carl actually turned into this great shot. And boy, he was having a hard time hitting. He could not get on target tonight.
In panic mode.
Yeah, he really was.
In panic mode, he was struggling.
Right.
Even with Vinny's bowling kills.
Yeah. Jason, what do you think? A lot of people they're agreeing with Vinny. That was a great moment. I don't know if the term is working, but I mean, that's the leading the charge here. Jay?
2 words. I win. It was so well delivered.
Yeah. Apparently that's a stolen line for Keith.
Sorry, Keith.
What's that for?
That's why we rotate the calls.
Yeah.
It was just so well delivered. And
It's okay, I got another one. I got 2.
those get me.
I always have 2, because just in case. He goes to you first.
I have 2 as well, just in case.
All right. Keith, what's your favorite?
I did like part of what Carl was going on, along with I win. But I did like it prior when he said, Shane taught me. Remember him?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
because that was like, it's just.
My other one.
Yeah,
That was
it's
a
another
great
one,
dig.
You know, but it's like, it's like father and son having a spat on a Friday night because he wants to take the keys. Not that Carl can drive, so don't get on my case
Might
yet,
as well.
Vinny.
Might as well,
but,
right?
But it's like they're having a spat on a Friday night, and it's like, dude, we're in the zombie apocalypse. You know, I save you, you do nothing.
When he swore?
You know, yeah, he's swearing,
Yeah.
you know, and then he had when his father was passed out, he had the melee, I help this person, I help this person. What are you doing? You're planting crops.
Okay, so normally what we'll do is during our favorite moment, we just kind of let this one turn into a serious debate. But since Sarah's at a disadvantage on Skype, I'm going to let her go first. Sarah, what was your favorite moment from tonight's episode?
Well, the whole episode was amazing. I want to say that my favorite moments were Carl and Rick alone together when Rick was in his coma.
Good word.
I was very, very excited about this episode, and especially when I started watching it, because it is so true to the comic, and I've heard that over and over that they're going to be bringing it back to the comic. So I was really excited to see if they would actually do it really well, and they did. But just the moment when Carl is trying to wake up Rick, and he realizes that he's passed out, he's, completely out for the count, and he's just screaming at him, everything that he feels that he can't say to him. He probably feels like he can't say to him when he's conscious, because, he's obviously putting on this front of being strong when he is just as afraid as everyone else. And I think they brought in a lot of real emotions in this episode that we haven't gotten to see in a long time.
Great point. All right, so now that once the three of us start talking, if at any point, Sarah, you want to interrupt us and tell us that we're wrong, you can feel free.
Okay.
But I wanted to give you a shot to kind of get out there.
Definitely.
Keith, why don't you start and we'll see if we interrupt you. What was your favorite moment?
That's
horrible.
That's
Sorry.
true.
Anyways.
Good talk.
I do like the end of it when Rick said, "It's for you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
was great.
I really did like that.
Yeah.
I did think that she was at the house where the shoe was, and maybe he left like a note on that door because she was kind of like comical about it. Or maybe he did write a note. We didn't see what she was looking at because she was smiling,
Right.
and she knew that they must have been in there. And then she knocks on the door. Right. So I did like that. It's for you.
Jay?
I agree.
No,
yeah.
that was horrible. Go ahead.
I tried. I agree with Sarah.
Sarah, do you want him to agree with you? Or should
No.
he find his own?
No, all right. I'm sorry. Well, it's too late. I've already agreed with you. I can't take it back.
Nobody can agree with me, okay?
The tantrum was great. We were talking on Facebook about the daddy issues that Carl's having, and we were speculating on what they could be, and a lot of it came out. Not being able to protect Judith, or really, Carl feels like he can't protect anybody.
Right.
And I think that he thought, though he didn't say it, that Shane could.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of what the issues were coming from. And then when he thought his father was dead, I think, he kind of woke up and realized it.
As always, we do throw this kind of stuff out there to our Facebook folks. So Cynthia, who's going to be here in 3 weeks, said that her favorite line of the night, sorry I missed this one, was Shane showed me. And she liked Michonne at the door. David Burke loved the line, "It's for you." His favorite moment, which I'm surprised I didn't pick this one actually now that I look at it, is Carl running into the door. Damn it. That was a great moment, wasn't
Great
it?
moment.
Favorite, I want to make sure I got everybody. And Stacy Festa said when she was killing all the zombies, and "It's for you," and the way it ended when they found each other. That was kind of a touchy-feely moment we don't often get with The Walking Dead, but that was pretty good. My favorite moment, because I have to be a smartass at sooner or later in this, was Carl sitting up on the roof eating the pudding.
Oh, that was awesome.
No, I know the guys in this room will get it. Sarah, I don't know how old you are, but it was a Calvin and Hobbes moment for me, where he was sitting up on there, and I was like, where's his teddy bear? Where's his little tiger sitting up there eating his pudding when no one can get to him? I thought that was great.
That's awesome.
So that was my favorite moment. So, Sarah, you having fun? You want to stick around?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we'll keep you going. So next week's episode is going to be called Inmates, and it's listed as, or summarized as, the scattered groups begin to start to reunite. But it becomes apparent there's a mysterious killer that may still be at large. And then the week after that, it's called Claimed. And that's just when Rick thinks he's going to be able to relax. Why does anyone think they're going to be able to relax? I think that is the dumbest concept that we could hear. He's faced with multiple immediate threats. No kidding. But other members of the group deal with their past. So really quick, let's give everybody at home an understanding of Sarah, who you are. You're out in Denver, Colorado. You're a member of the
Let her tell the
Facebook-
story.
Well, hold on. I'm setting it up. I'm being a good host.
No, that's not good.
Listen, you're not
What
Ed
did you say? That's
McMahon. I'll fire you in a heartbeat.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'll fire
How
you.
old are you?
I'll fire you from your free volunteer work here
Yeah.
at The Walking Dead.
Hey, it's
support
after
group.
10. You know what that means? Overtime. You know? Time and a half of
Time and
nothing.
a half.
Time and a half of nothing is still
Sarah, why don't
nothing.
you give them a quick overview of what you do? Because you really bring the comics out and you do other stuff too. So I want to give a chance to kind of give you a shout out to you.
Yeah, so I've been a huge fan of the show since it first aired. I really loved it, but I didn't really get crazy into it until I opened the comics for the first time. I really got insane about it at that point in time because it just opened a whole new world for me. But shortly after that, I started getting involved into Facebook pages and all that. And right now, I'm actually with Jen Vogel over at Walking Dead News. And we just hit 7,000 fans, I think it was last night. So that's like an awesome milestone for us there because she just is insanely crazy about how it's grown so fast because I started adminning over there, I want to say in October, either the end of October or beginning of September, but she only had about 4,000 fans. And at the end of the year when the season started, it just blew up. And even today, we've gotten a ton of new fans just because the show's starting to air. So I really love that page because it's like a family, and that's kind of the reason I'm with the Walking Dead support group is because it's more of a tight knit family. We get to discuss things really well together. There's never any like drama issues or anything like that, which is a huge plus for me. But I also do the comic group, which is kind of what you were talking about.
Right.
I just started it a couple months ago. I actually started it just for my personal friends because I was actually taking pictures of the comics myself, and I was worried about copyright issues and things like that. So it was just a couple of people I was allowing to see it, and then I found them on YouTube, and it was like, ah, hallelujah, I can open this to the world and then like push the comic and get people that maybe not be able to afford it particularly to be able to watch it for free and get the desire to save up to buy the comics, because that's the really cool part is seeing people come in not knowing anything about the comics and then 6 months later them having a huge collection. I mean, Lindsay is one of those examples. She came into the group with nothing. Her first Walking Dead item was something she won in a giveaway because we do giveaways all the time there. And now she has this huge comic collection, which is just so awesome to see. But that group is TWD Comic. That's just all it is if you type it into the search bar. But other than that, I definitely wanted to give a shout out to the Umbrella Corporation Denver. That is something that I'm really, really involved in other than the Walking Dead. And it's basically a professional cosplay for charity group, a completely nonprofit organization. And we go to zombie events and things of that nature. And we post for pictures and we sell merchandise, and it all benefits a charity. Usually, last year we did Wounded Warrior. At the Denver Zombie Crawl, we raised money for Lone Survivor. And if there is a specific charity that the event that we go to is representing, we will raise money for that charity. So it's really awesome. We have a Facebook. It was down for a while, but now it's back up. So if you have a chance, you should check that out too. It's Umbrella Corp Denver, and that's all it is in the search bar as well. But
Excellent. We can put links. We can put links right on our page for everybody on that one too.
Yeah, and I'll be sharing them with the video as well. So
Excellent.
yeah, but that's really something I'm passionate about at this moment in time, just because we do so much charity work, and that's really and it's fun charity work. It's not just charity work. So
Well, and your costumes are, I mean, they look movie quality. So, I mean, I've seen
yes,
some
we
of
are.
your pictures that you guys post up, and it's definitely impressive. And,
Yeah,
I can't even draw stick figures, and you guys make it look fantastic. So I'm totally impressed. So we're going to get into predictions for next week. Jay, what do you've got? We'll let you start.
Well, just from what I've read here, it's called Inmates, and to me, it's a reference to all the prison people being scattered out there. People that live in a prison are called inmates. And
Wow, you're really doing the obvious
Yeah.
tonight.
did
Huh?
Wouldn't that be
is that nice
fugitive?
and obvious?
Should I not speak German tonight too?
You can if you want. I should say you won't mind. The mysterious killer. I'm curious. I'd like to see what these hunters are all about. That's pretty much all I've got.
Keith?
My prediction for next week is Jason's prediction is wrong.
Well, that's easy since mine is always wrong.
That's true.
My prediction's going to go along with. There are some people who are generally not happy with how tonight's episode went. I kind of liked it. I thought it had some really good moments. But one of the things that they have done a lot with this season is really focus in on certain particular characters for a couple of episodes. We got that with the governor, and that really drove people nuts. And one of the things I was seeing was there were complaints, people saying that this episode was way too much on Carl and his mute father for this whole episode. I mean, Rick really didn't have a lot of lines in it.
No, I'm Batman.
Yeah, well, he did sound like Christian Bale in Batman. That was obvious. So what I'm kind of hoping is that they're going to pick up the pace a little bit faster this time around. But since IMDb is now going to be in question, we'll see what happens. But I think what you're going to see is hopefully you'll see multi-storylines crossing, and then implied that we're going to start seeing everybody get together faster. But Sarah, what do you got? I'll give you the last word on a prediction for next week.
I see, basically from the little preview and from everything I've heard online, I see us seeing a lot more of the individual groups that have been split up into. I'm not quite sure about how the hunters are going to come about, but I'm really excited to see that. I'm not sure how they can keep it onto the comic in the next episode just because of the way that everything was split up and how it hasn't been and how there's different characters in different places and so forth. But I'm really excited for this next episode because I believe that we're going to just see a lot of them in their different little groups and doing what they can to survive. I see something pretty major going on with Glenn and Maggie. I don't know if you caught that from the preview, but it seemed like Glenn woke up on a landing of some sort. I know
Right.
we've seen that picture floating around, that he might have fallen or something like that and been knocked unconscious. So I'm excited to see where that's going. And obviously him and Maggie have been sort of split up, so that's another thing too.
Now, what do you think of it? Because I've heard people asking, let's throw this out to everybody here. Daryl and Beth. People are starting to think maybe they'll hook up now that Carol's kind of out of the picture. And that scene at the end of the last episode where he was basically saying, "Hey, we got to get out of here," and then they took off together. Is that a potential? I mean, do we see Carol coming back, or?
Well, I still say that Carol's probably going to come back, and some of the previews show that Beth's alone. So even if she did run off with Daryl, I think they probably either get separated or they end up splitting up for whatever reason.
Right.
But along those lines, if Michonne found Rick and Carl because she was tracking him on the road.
Right.
She saw him as she saw it as she crossed the road, then went back after the melee killing, and then found them at that house. Found them at the Joe and Joe's barbecue shack first, then the house. So I think they're all going to get back together, and I think it's going to happen hopefully quicker than some of the other storylines that take forever.
Right.
And we'll move on. But
Did we ever find out if they had a predetermined meeting place?
There was a plan. That's right. They
I
did
thought
say
I
we
heard
we're
that.
supposed
they always
to meet
had a
somewhere.
plan, yeah. But that didn't work out.
But that obviously, that didn't go very well.
Well, GPSs don't work in the zombie apocalypse. so they're gonna have to find their way around.
And neither do Xboxes.
Yeah, neither does the
Apparently not.
Xbox.
Neither does
That
the
was-
Xbox.
But the
We
quotes were
were all
great.
waiting to see if that was an Xbox One, because we know that the Prius that they were driving was too new for the apocalypse also. All right, so we like to end every episode with things that we've learned from this particular episode. Jason, why don't you give us an idea? What did you learn tonight from tonight's episode?
Well, I always thought that, Michonne, while she's not maybe the most stable person in the world, I thought she was always just calm, collected, and, ready to face any challenge. And what I saw tonight from her, I learned that she's not any of that. She might be calm and collected and ready to face any challenge, but she has got a lot of skeletons in her closet. Her child.
I think she put those skeletons.
Right, but what I'm curious to see is whether she was actually hallucinating or whether she was dreaming. Because she woke up in the car. It's not like she was, having a waking
Yeah,
hallucination.
you could see her pets outside the window, though.
Right, but it's like she woke up in the car. Was she dreaming
Oh,
all that, or was she actually hallucinating?
it's possible.
So that's what I'm curious to see. But I learned that she's not the most stable person I thought she was.
I learned, and I have to admit, this was probably my real favorite theme in this episode, was that backstory to Michonne that we kind of wanted to know about. We knew she was a mother, so that answered why she didn't like, holding Judith. We learned a little bit about the original pets and how that came about, and her desire to talk to him, and it tied into the conversation she had with Rick, where she said, "Well, you know what? I talk to dead people too," So we kind of got to see that a little bit. But what I learned is that Michonne is truly the ultimate survivor in all of this. She's got the leadership skills of Rick. She's got the quick decisiveness of I'll just kill like the governor. But she's got some compassion like Herschel. She is literally the embodiment of all the right attributes that will make you survive and keep you going. And she's fiercely loyal. She went looking for Carl. I mean, I don't think she's really looking for Rick. I think she'll, accept that Rick's there. But I think she went looking for Carl.
So that was Carl's footprint, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's,
I think Rick knew that too.
what I learned from that is that Michonne really is going to be the ultimate survivor in this. Plus, she's got the best weapon out of anyone.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean...
Well, she knows how to use it. At least.
Right. Oh, and it was in the steak knife thing. That was fantastic.
Because that was
In
part
the
of the
butcher's
because she
block,
had...
Yeah.
She had the chef's knife, but when she cleaned it, it became her katana, and then
Right.
she slides it right into the butcher's block. It's like, it's like, that was cool.
Yeah, that was
That's
cool.
a good hallucination.
Sarah, what did you learn from tonight?
I have to agree with a little bit of both of you so far. I learned a lot about Michonne myself. I was really excited to see her backstory because of all the speculation of her having a child. I learned that she really is a lot more dynamic of a character than they have shown us so far, which is really awesome. It opens up a whole nother level of Michonne for me. But I'm going to go ahead and put a woman's touch on it and say, I enjoyed the emotions that we got from her. The fact that we could actually connect with her in that way and actually see her go through a sad emotion, because we haven't really seen that yet. Even with all the stuff she's gone through, the governor, being back and forth between having a place and not having a place to stay, surviving in the woods with Andrea, she was always that stoic, quiet, strong person, and we haven't seen her break down at all yet. So basically, to summarize it, I learned that she actually has real human emotion and isn't just this killing machine.
Right.
Yeah.
She does have that side. When she was with Andrea, she was almost Terminator-esque. There was no real emotion in her until we saw her starting to split and lose Andrea.
Yeah, well, she was also trying very hard to mother Andrea and take care of her and keep her alive, and Andrea resisted it the whole time. She didn't want Michonne telling her what to do, babying her, all those things. But I think that was our first hint to the fact that Michonne was a mother before the zombie apocalypse. Was that she was very much so trying to mother Andrea and keep her alive. And probably not even because of care for Andrea, but just for that feeling of being able to keep somebody safe and, protected. Like, she obviously couldn't for her man, her brother, and her child.
That was a great point about her doing the mothering stuff. And
Yeah.
we'll let Keith wrap this up with what did he learn tonight?
This is what I learned tonight because, as we both know, I enjoy the show, but I also look for it as the zombie apocalypse preparedness. So what have I learned tonight? And just a quick tidbit for everybody out there. If you're going to leave your house in the zombie apocalypse, leave the door unlocked or perhaps open so Carl doesn't hurt himself. Now,
Good one.
good one. Now, if it's my door or the house I'm in because somebody else left their door unlocked and now I am in the house looking for pudding and the door is locked, then maybe assume I'm in there because I might shoot first.
Well, and that was another thing that we, I'll throw it out there really quick, and we're going to move on from it. We'll talk about more about it. But we saw the lesson that they got from the episode of Clear, where they were writing on "This room is clear, that room is clear."
Yes, the child.
Carl knew he lost his shoe in that room, and if somebody came looking for him, they would recognize the shoe, and he put on that door. Was a walker inside, so was my shoe, I got out, I'm okay, or something like that.
yeah.
That was actually kind of a brilliant thing.
He got my
because-
shoe before he got me or something.
Right,
Yeah.
and so that means I'm still alive, keep looking for me. It wasn't that moment with Judith and the car seat was empty and there's blood all over the place. That was actually pretty good. On behalf of our guest host, Sara Crow, Jason McCarthy, Keith O'Brien, and myself, Alex Mann, thank you for joining the Walking Dead support group. Be sure to check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Facebook. We do have the new T-shirts are in. There are a limited time only. We're only doing it for a 30-day run, and that window is already open. People are ordering and doing that very much, so thank you all. And once again, have a great night. We'll see you next week. And Sarah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you,
guys
Sarah.
for having me.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.